Welcome back to the channel, guys. Very excited to talk to you about this topic. This is massive for people's emotions. I'm going to be showing you how to control your emotions. I'm talking everything from stress, anxiety, overwhelm, fear. This will show you exactly the tools needed to change your emotions, manage your emotions, especially in the times that you need it. Because let's face it, humans are emotional creatures. We are driven by emotions, but at some times, if you can't control them in the right way, they can really cause us challenges and a lot of pain. So I'm going to show you some really simple tools that have completely changed my life, and it's really simple to use once you're conscious of it. Because if you don't know what you're doing the best with what you know. So now I'm going to bless you with some consciousness and the tools needed so you can be mature and make those conscious decisions on how you can control your emotions from moment to moment. And all I ask in return, guys, for this video is a simple like. Smash the like button, helps out heaps massively. If you could just do that for me, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, we'll get straight into the video. Let's go. First things first, when it comes to managing any form of emotion, you want to make sure that you regulate yourself. And how you do that is breathing. I've said this in other videos and it's very cliche, but it's very, very true. Whenever you want to take control of yourself, emotionally speaking, in most ways, you want to start with your breath, because your breath controls a lot. It controls the tempo, it controls the emotions, it controls how fast the heart beats. So you want to make sure you are taking back the control and the rhythm of how you're breathing. The rule that I use, 6 seconds in, so you breathe in through your nose for 6 seconds, you hold it into your belly, not your chest, you breathe into your belly, and then you hold it for 6 seconds, and then you breathe out for 6 seconds. I've said this in other videos, but you breathe in, hold it, and then let it out, 6 seconds each. You do that 5 times over, you'll notice a dramatic difference because you're starting to calm the neurological system. You're starting to calm the mind. You're starting to calm the body down. That's why meditation is so popular these days, because it uses breath work within it. Step number 2, what you want to focus on is get clear on what is happening in the environment. You need to ask yourself one question: what is happening right now? Now, you need to answer this question with logic, not emotion. For example, say you just broke up with your partner, your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you could say, what's happening right now? The answer to that could be, my life is over, I'm ruined, I'll never be the same again, I'll never find anyone else again. That isn't a logical answer. That's an emotional answer. You need to get very clear and transparent on what is the situation at hand. For example, the answer to that situation, I have just broken up with my partner. And that's it. You just need to say it how it is, not worse than it is. And that's the challenge, especially when people are highly emotional and they're not breathing properly, is they'll exaggerate situations. They'll act like the world is blowing up when they're just having some financial challenges, or challenges with their relationship, or challenges with their partners, or challenges with their finances. When in reality, the problem isn't as big as the brain or the mind makes it out to be. And I'm being serious about this next statement. Your worst nightmare is someone else's best dream. Because picture people right now that don't have water to drink, food to eat, shelter, access to the internet, which you do right now. Your worst fear of a bill or an argument or an issue or a challenge at work, that problem is someone else's fantasy, because they don't have the luxuries that we have. But this brain, the human brain, it's designed over millions and millions of years of evolution to always find what's wrong. It's not designed to make you happy. It's designed to make you survive. So what it's doing, it's consciously looking out for what's wrong. And that's why when you're in those situations where it is highly emotional, your brain is going to be focused on what's wrong. Why is it doing that? Because it wants to survive. It wants to avoid pain. It wants to avoid conflict. So it's always looking for what's wrong. However, unfortunately, sometimes your mind will exaggerate situations and make things worse. So what you need to do, like I said, step 1, breathe. Slow things down. Then you want to look at the situation with an analytical and logical viewpoint and ask yourself, what's happening right now? Don't exaggerate it. Just ask yourself that question. What is happening right now? An employee has quit. You've just lost your partner. Someone has passed away. You've just lost some money. Just be simple and clear what is happening right now. Step number 3. This is one of the most powerful skills and traits of human beings is we get to manage the meaning. We get to change our perspective and viewpoint on situations so we can change what it means to us and therefore change how it makes us feel. For example, say you break up with a partner. That's what's happened. You've slowed down your breath. You've then asked yourself, what has happened? I've just broken up with my partner. What does this mean? That's the next question. Unfortunately, most people answer that in an ineffective way. They answer in a way that causes them to go downhill, and it's a disempowering belief that they create out of it. They might say something like, I've lost all those memories. I've just wasted all my time. I'll be single forever. I'll never find another person. I'm broken. I can never heal. They'll make up all these crazy situations or beliefs out of the event that's happened. However, has something happened to you before where in the moment it was very painful for you, but in hindsight, whether that be a day, a week, a month, a year, 10 years later, you actually realized that was a blessing? That was exactly what was meant to happen. Why? Because it is what happened. When you can really start to get that hindsight sooner rather than later, then you can get the lessons. You can get the benefits out of it. So what you want to ask yourself, like I said, what does this mean? Does this mean that you're now single and you've got the opportunity to work on yourself? Does it mean that you've now learnt so much about who you are and what you tolerate in a relationship? Say, for example, you lost your job. Does this now mean that you have an opportunity to find a career or a job opportunity that is better for you, where your boss treats you better, where the workplace environment is better, where there's more opportunities to grow? Does it also mean that you need to be strategic about your finances and have a backup plan in case you do lose your job, by having an emergency fund of money in place in case the worst thing does happen and you do lose your job? So you need to really control the meaning of what things mean. And this is probably the hardest step. Why? Because we are emotional. Human beings by nature are emotional creatures. It's our biggest pro, but it is also sometimes our biggest con. So make sure that you are taking control of that meaning and putting an empowering meaning in place so it serves you. If you go through a breakup in a relationship and you've created the meaning that all guys or all girls are assholes, and that's the belief you create, then you're going to live with that belief forever, which will then cause you to retract and repel other people from being in a relationship with you, because you have that belief that all those girls or guys are assholes. So make sure that you're controlling the meaning and creating an empowering meaning out of that situation. Step number 4, as well as the meaning that you've just created, you want to make sure that you're getting some lessons out of it. Because if you make a mistake, that's normal. But if you make a mistake and not learn from it, then you're going to repeat those same mistakes until you get that lesson. So make sure whenever you do go through some pain or something stressful or something's emotional, make sure you're always looking for the lessons. One of my good mentors always says this: your challenges and your problems are the tickets to the next level. It's the opportunities that you need to give you the lessons and experience and skills and knowledge that you require to have the results that you're chasing. Because when you go after a goal and you set a goal and you start taking action towards it, guess what's going to show up? Problems, issues, challenges. And they're not there to stop you from doing it or stop you from achieving the goal. They are there to test you to see if you're really committed to achieving them. So you got to make sure not only are you taking on those challenges and breaking through them, but you're also making sure you're getting the lessons along the way so you don't repeat the same problems in the future. Number 5, last step. After you've regulated your emotions, you've calmed yourself down, you've then assessed the situation of what is happening, you've then changed the meaning, and you've gathered lessons and experiences and tools out of it. The last step is, what are you going to do about it? So what are you going to do to improve the situation or to move forward? Because I'm not a fan all the time of motivational videos or motivational speeches. Some of them are really good and it's like a warm bath. You jump in, it feels really nice. But eventually that warm temperature starts to go away and then you're cold again and you're unmotivated again. So I'm all about being motivated and being inspired, but I'm also about taking action. So once you've gathered the lessons, you've changed the meaning, you've assessed the situation, and you've regulated your emotions, the next step is, what are you going to do about it? Because yes, problems are going to show up, but they're showing up to see if you're committed to your goals. So then after you've done all of those steps, you need to do something about it. You need to be tactical. You need to be practical. You need to be intentional about the situation so you can take care of it and then you can move on. Those are the 5 steps, guys, on how to manage your emotions. But I want to give you 2 bonus rules for life, but they really tie into this situation we're talking about. Rule number 1, for every positive, there is a negative. And what do I mean by that? Everything that happens in your life, there are pros and there are cons. There are positives and there are negatives. There is no such thing as a positive event. There's no such thing as a negative event. All there is a situation, there's an event that happens. Then, with your perspective and the decisions that you make about that situation, you can then label that as a positive or a negative situation. But the beautiful part about being human is you get to decide that. Have you seen or even experienced a situation where someone takes a very negative outlook upon that and their life goes backwards, where someone else who goes through the same situation, the same event, they use that event as energy and as power and as fuel to do something about it? We've all heard stories of it, and there's some very famous ones out there, but the only difference between those two is what perspective and what viewpoint have you put upon that situation in question. Because like we spoke about, step number 3, you get to change the meaning of what something means to you, and then what are you going to do about it? For every positive, there is a negative, and they balance each other out. And the second rule I do want to give you guys, I'll finish on this. Everything in life is perfect. It ties into what I just spoke about. Whatever happened was perfect. Why? Because it is what happened. And if you can really play that back and listen to that 2 or 3 times over and really understand that, your whole life changes. Because when you live with the belief that everything does happen for a reason and there is beauty in everything that does happen, then you don't get as affected. You don't get very reactive about things, because when challenges do pop up, and they pop up for me as well, they pop up for everyone, but when they do arise, because that's a natural thing and it is what's meant to happen, you don't get reactive over it. You don't get pissed off about it. You don't get stressed about it. You don't get as emotional about it, because you understand things are happening for a reason. I've had hundreds, if not thousands, of challenges in my business career. Employees leaving, lawsuits, I've had challenges with landlords, I've had challenges with my cash flow, I've had issues with the bank, I've had issues with everything that you can think of when it comes to business. But the beautiful part is, I'm so grateful they all happened. Why? Because they were meant to happen, and it's perfect because it did happen, and I got so many lessons out of every single one of those problems that I went through. I'm going to finish off there, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is a little bit more deeper and more the mindset and psychology stuff that I really enjoy. If you got some value out of it, please do me one favor. Like the video, leave me a comment, any questions you've got, subscribe to the video, and check me out on my other social medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. They're all my name, Lewis Huckstep. Hope you got some value out of this. I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.